Jim. I'm with Bestop, and we're going to be installing one of our best-selling Trektop NX soft tops on an 04 TJ Unlimited. It had a factory hardtop on it. That's been removed, and there's a little bit of preparation we need to do, including removing the rubber squeak seals off of the body here. And then we're also going to add some tailgate bar brackets. The body already has some dimples in place where the holes are going to be drilled to install the bracket. So let's get underway with this installation. First things first, got to open the box up. Good news is it's this warm day out in Illinois, so it's been laying out here a while. The fabric's pretty pliable. The glass is nice and pliable, so that's going to mean it'll help us later on when we go to zip everything together, because it's pretty tight when you install it first. Got the instruction sheet, warranty registration card, and some of the hardware that we're going to need in order to install the door surrounds and other parts that support the installation of the Trektop NX. These are the tools we're going to use today to install this Trektop NX on the TJ Unlimited. Looks pretty simple, and it is. It had a factory hardtop on it, so we got to drill holes in the tub, and then we just need a Phillips head screwdriver for the windshield header channel screws and a couple other places. And we might need this, not too sure if we need it or not, in case we need to move the soundbar cap enough to put some straps in between the soundbar cap and the sport bar. Okay, so next up is the door surround. So on the Trektop NX, it features a Sunrider, which is the flip back open air experience. And there's a bracket for that that's on these door surrounds. It's not on the factory door surrounds. And so that's why we provide the replacement in the box, ready to go, ready to install. So I'm gonna grab another guy and we're gonna put these things on, just take a couple of minutes. This is the hardtop squeak seal near the door. So they're removed. We just need a flat surface for this replacement door rail to mount into. So I'm gonna do the passenger side. And so there were just shy of 1 million TJs built altogether between 1997 and 2006. So the TJ Unlimited was a different way to do it, and they made about 56,000 of those between 2004 and 2006. This is the Unlimited, and many feel it was like one of the best ventures that Jeep made. So we're putting the knobs in. We call them mushroom knobs because of the top. And they go through the factory sport bar into a threaded boss that's already in the Jeep. So again, there's no drilling or tapping or anything. And it bottoms out. You can feel when it's tightened all the way down through the threaded boss. Okay, that's it. Simple as that. So the next step on the Trektop NX installation, because this had a factory hardtop on it, it needs tailgate bar brackets. There's going to be screws that hold it on. You just hold it up right over the drawing, and it'll be almost exactly like the screw that you're supposed to use, so you don't get those confused with a different screw that's going to be used elsewhere on the Trektop NX. So this is one of the tailgate bar brackets. The tailgate bar is basically going to slip in here and hold the rear curtain in place against the tailgate. So they're marked left and right underneath here. The letter for the left tailgate bracket goes against the body. That's how you know you got it on right. There's dimples right here in the tub that show you exactly where to drill the holes that are going to hold these in place. So now we're using an 1/8 inch bit to drill into the body tub right through those dimples, and that's where the bracket's going to install with the pan head screws. Going to put those on in just a minute. So again, since it's a hard top, we needed to drill into the body as a precautionary move. We highly recommend you put a little silicone seal over those holes so that it doesn't start rusting right there where the screw contacts the body. So I'm just going to put a little dollop right on top of the holes, and then we'll proceed to put the bracket in place. You don't have to be too neat because the bracket's going to cover the silicone. So now we're going to put the bracket on. Remember, the letter, in this case R for right-hand side, is going to go against the body. Let's get that started, and we'll get the other side started. On this bracket, we've made sure that the letter L for left is facing the body. Otherwise, later on, if you don't do it that way, you're gonna have to come back and redo these brackets, and we don't wanna do that again. All done. Okay, we've moved a couple of steps towards awesome. We've got our door surrounds in, our tailgate brackets on. We're gonna attach the Sunrider rods to the windshield header, and then we're gonna put the top deck onto the windshield header. Each one of these rods goes on the leg of the windshield header, and they're drilled in such a way that you can't install them incorrectly. So the knobs, these little spring-loaded knobs on the end of the rod, face inward, and just simply push over that. And when the hole lines up on there, you know you've got a match. If the hole does not line up, you know you got the rod on the wrong side. The next step is simply to install the shiny zinc plated screws into the holes of the rod and into the leg of the windshield header. I like to start them both before you tighten up either side, and then that way if you need to move the rod around a little bit, it's not too tight to do that. Now move to the other side. All right, so now we're ready for this next step. And this is taking the windshield header and Sunrider assembly that we just did. And we're gonna take that and install the top, which we've laid upside down on a table here. And simply push the assembly into the front of the top as far as you can on each side by hand. And then you'll notice there's a strip here, looks a little bit like leather, it's actually plastic, and there's holes in it. The center hole is round, every other hole is slotted. You begin in the center, and that helps make sure that the top is screwed in properly from left to right, beginning at the center. I'm just gonna take a screw and my handy Phillips head. In the instructions, it calls out to use a utility knife to cut open the holes. I've found that the screws are so pointy, they just kind of cut their way through the back side. So if you need to use a knife to get a screw that won't quite go through this bit, you can just quickly nick it with a utility knife to open up the fabric a little bit, but most times you really don't need to do that. So I'm just gonna put it right down here in the center. And again, I'm not gonna tighten it down all the way because we don't do that. We're gonna give ourselves a little wiggle room. And then we're gonna take the other screws and put them through all the sludge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go. You'll notice that there are more holes in the windshield header than there are screws. Don't worry about that. This windshield header was used over a long time, and originally we used all the holes to hold the fabric down, but after one heck of a lot of wind tunnel testing and work directly with Chrysler, we figured out that you really didn't need to have all that many screws holding the windshield header channel to the fabric up here. It clamps just fine with the number of screws that are provided. So don't worry about the extra holes. All right, we're getting pretty close here now. We're gonna put the rear bow, this is what's gonna sit on top of the sport bar and create the drape point for the top to come back and sit against the body tub. So Eric's gonna help me. We're just gonna simply lift this up so you can see how we were doing it. This is the rear bow. There's a pocket right here, and it slides all the way through the top. Just about like that. There are little plastic J-shaped catch in there. That's what centers the bow in the pocket and keeps it stationary inside the pocket. So we did a lot of work on the Trektop NX in preparation to install the main deck onto the Jeep. So we put on the Sunrider rods. Those are screwed in, check. We put in the windshield header assembly into the soft top deck and put in all of the screws all the way out to the end. And now we're ready to take this deck out and put it on the Jeep. This is a bow that goes into place. It helps prevent the top from puddling in the event of heavy rain or snow. So I'm just gonna take the protective sheath off that we use to package it. Hand the other end to Eric, and he's gonna slide it right into this recess that's already built into the Bestop door surrounds. Yeah, you gotta flex it just a hair to convince it. So now it's in the recess. So at last the moment's arrived. We're putting the deck on top of the Jeep. We're gonna start attaching it to the Jeep. Okay, so we're gonna put the Sunrider rod right in the ear. You hear it click into position, it's all set. In the instructions, it talks about loosening the sound bar cap to attach these straps. If you need to, we're gonna need to. So we're just gonna take our handy Torx wrench and loosen the soundbar cap enough to worm this strap between the plastic soundbar cap and the roll bar padding so that we can secure it to this main sport bar. Okay, I'm just fishing this strap through. So here it is coming out the other side. Simply insert it in the buckle. Again, we don't have to be real super tight at this point. We'll come back and cinch these things down once we're ready to go. But we just want to have it all in position. So now that we fished the strap through, the buckle's attached. It's not super tight, but it's enough to get our hand on it. When it comes time to tighten down everything on the top, do not forget to tighten your soundbar cap back up. Pretty common mistake. Okay, now that comes time to attach the rear strap to the body that's also attached to the Trektop NX. It's gonna feel like it's backwards up here. That's on purpose. We don't have the buckle this way so that it does not read through the fabric or be visible through the fabric when the top's completely attached. So just turn it around. You can orient yourself that way to the strap. And there you go. So I'm opening the tailgate so I can get close to the back of the Jeep to install the rear curtain. So that curtain has what we call a J channel. So there's a channel that just looks like this on the opposite side on the deck. And we're just gonna slide it in a little bit, and then you wanna hear this click. And that tells me it's all the way into the channel. And we're just gonna slide this fella right on over. Okay, that's probably close enough. One can just sort of eyeball it and see if it's about the same from one side to the other. And that just sits like that. And now we're gonna install the side windows, the Sunrider, flip it forward, don't latch it, just leave it loose. And that's gonna let us access the zipper for this passenger side window just to get it started. A few inches there. Now we're gonna do the driver's side. Okay, with some patience and persistence and trial and error, we've got the side curtains in, and now probably the most difficult part, and that is to get the rear curtain attached to the side windows. We've got the passenger side on. And we just got that started. It's really all we need to do is just get them started so that you don't have to try and engage them when everything's taut all over the soft top. And now we can start putting the soft top quarter windows into the plastic door surrounds near the doors, the driver and passenger doors. These have a plastic plate right here, and this edge goes into this slot in the door surrounds, follows it right around, so it'll conform when it's all tucked in. Okay, so here we're going to put the driver side quarter window edge into the door surround slot all the way through. Just got to find a place to start. I just kind of start right here. Be patient. That'll be able to work its way in. Okay. In. We're going to put in this, what's called a belt rail, into the lip on the body. Again, nice and tight because it's just brand new. I'm going to open the tailgate so that we can put the tailgate bar in easily. The tailgate bar fits into this lip. You want it to seal when it's in. It's going to be sealing against the actual tailgate of the Jeep. So we're going to insert it in such a way that when it's all the way into the bracket here, like so, that this bulb seal, this round seal here, is up against the tailgate. So the tailgate curtain is actually going to fit in this slot. This goes into there. Simply slide it through until it's sort of centered. You'll see. Tailgate bar is going to go into this lip right here. That's in. So now, finish with these zippers. Yep. Then this flap has one edge, okay? So it's going to go right into that little lip, like so. Got a nice seal between the bottom lip of the soft top and the top lip of the tailgate. Final step here is to flip the Sunrider over. And then we're going to attach it with these latches into the slots that are already in the windshield frame. There's no drilling or cutting or anything like that necessary. And then that's going to hold the front edge or the front lip of the top down to the windshield frame. So we're going to put this latch into that slot. The latch, simply just slide it as far apart as possible. So it's going to come down. There's the visor. On. Repeat that same step on the passenger side. Put the Sunrider down and we've latched it. Final step here, we have these clips that simply go underneath the door surrounds to help keep the top taut from side to side. All right, so this is how you install a Trektop NX on a TJ Unlimited. And I think it changes the whole look, the stance of the vehicle, and using premier products like Bestop helps you plan your escape wherever you're planning to go with your Jeep, and use the best stuff, use Bestop.